What I'd like the album to mean to people is to remind them of the fun they had at the show. We saw lots of people out there having a blast. You know, that was really the joy for the band about touring, you know, just everywhere you went, Chicago, Japan, Rio, whatever it was. There's a bunch of great buzzing people out there, you know. And so with the album, we thought, well, you know, if we can just give them a reminder, instead of them having to bootleg it, we'll try and give them a good quality bootleg of pretty much what went on. We've basically gone for that, you know, is to try and get some of the feeling, try to get some of the best takes. It's ended up being quite global, you know, there are takes from Tokyo, Chicago, etc., a lot of American cities, some stuff from Rio. And I think that's quite nice, you know, and Wembley and stuff, showing most of the countries we went to are kind of represented, you know, so that was basically it, really, to just try and give them a nice soothe. We introduced Birthday into the tour act when we went to Washington on July the 4th. I just really wanted to be able to say to the crowd, "Hey, America, they say it's your birthday," and go into the song. So we did it for that, and it went down great that night. And we enjoyed playing it so much that we did it the next night. So we did a few recordings of it. And it was fresh, and a lot of younger people actually hadn't heard the song, which always surprises me. You know, you kind of think everyone's heard all those Beatles songs, but of course it's not true. So then a lot of people around just started buzzing and singing it and whistling it, and they say, "That's the single." So I said, "Well, I'm with you, Jim."
Hey, America! They say it's your birthday! They say it's your birthday! Who's my birthday too, yeah? This is your birthday.
I wrote it with John. We wrote it on the off chance one night. We didn't have we came into the studio and we didn't have a song. So there were some friends around. So we said, let's just make one up, you know. And so we made Birthday up with the intention that it'd be kind of like a useful song. You know, some songs like White Christmas, they put on at Christmas. And seeing as we were just making one up quickly, we thought, well, you know, a good angle for it would be to make it kind of like a useful song, you know, so that people can actually say, here's a song for you, it's your birthday. That we did it with that in mind. So it's great. It was great news to realize that the single was going to be released on October the 9th. You know, it's just a little nod and a wink to an old friend. When we started the album, I think everyone on the team agreed that what we were going to try and give people would be pretty straight souvenir of the show. In other words, we'd try and give them all of the numbers. Most of the numbers are on there anyway, there's just one or two left off. We didn't really feel like we had good takes of them, you know. We only wanted to put on stuff we felt we had a real good take on. But we basically tried to do that, you know, it's a souvenir of the show. We kept in some of the silly moments that were there. And we added a few little bits which was kind of called Trinkets. Somehow they got called Trinkets, which are little moments from soundchecks. Because, you know, at soundchecks, we used to do actually a whole other show. Some of the guys off the tour used to actually like the soundchecks better than the show half the time. Because it was unpredictable. That was the point about it. And each day, rather than play numbers that we're going to play later that evening and get bored with them all, we had a little set of numbers that we just goofed off just to make sure our sound was good in the stadium or in the hall. So we did little things like a song called Don't Let the Sun Catch You Crying, which was an old Ray Charles B-side that I had when I was a kid, you know, and it's a song I used to do in Hamburg, actually. So I did that with them just to keep things like interesting. We used to do a song called Matchbox, which is one Ringo used to do many years ago, Carl Perkins song. So there are a few of these little things that appear on the album. It's kind of obvious which they are. They're the ones that don't have any applause.
My word.
The other thing that used to happen at these sound checks was like moments of madness, you know, and you're really just too fed up with this being serious lark that you just had to get silly for a while, you know, just to relieve yourself. So there's this singer in Britain called Gracie Fields, who's no longer with us, unfortunately, but she was like, when I was a kid, she was a star, sort of a northern lady, you know, a lassie from Lancashire. And she's a great British institution kind of thing. And this is one of her songs, Sally, Sally. So we have a go at that on the sound check. It was just to amuse ourselves, you know, but it's quite a silly version, but it does show the humor of the tour, you know, that we didn't take ourselves too seriously. Playing Rio to the big crowd of over 184,000 was very special because we'd been worrying it was going to rain and we'd had to actually postpone one of the shows and do the shows together instead of one show, day off, one show. So, and the weather forecast, as I learned later, had said this could go on for like 13 days of rain. You know, this is how it happens around here. But at the press conference, they'd said to me, Paul, what about the weather? What about the rain? And bluffing completely, I said, oh, the rain will stop. And I was thinking, bluff it out, bluff it, go for it. And, well, it did, just as we got on, just a couple of minutes before. So it was like,
Yes! 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 I can almost remember the funny faces. That time you told them that you were gonna be married soon.
Most nights were great. I mean, there were only one or two nights where it was just, I felt a bit bad about Pittsburgh because I'd asked specially to go to Pittsburgh. When they were doing the tour, I said, gotta go to Pittsburgh. They said, Pittsburgh? What do you want to go there for? I said, well, you know, it's like, it's people, it's working people, you know, Liverpool, you know, Glasgow. That was another good show, by the way. Pittsburgh. And they said, oh, fine, you know, sure we can do a show there. So we turned up there and I just about lost my voice. It was really bad news, you know. And I'd been lucky the rest of the tour, I'd been touching wood a lot. But this night, I did the sound check. I said, see, oh God, I thought, well, it'll clear up. I didn't, you know. And I had this specialist came in and gave me this very interesting space age treatment where he put sort of low frequency electronic sort of things. I'm going, he's saying, relax. I'm going, I'm trying. And he says, there's a white light entering the top of your head and coming down. I'm going, I know, I can see it. He said, it's wrapping round your tonsils. It's healing them. I said, you're right. It's right. And then we go in on for hours. I mean, I was nearly falling asleep with this great treatment. It was lovely, you know. Got me relaxed. Then he says, now there's a green light and it's joining the white light and it's wrapping. I was in hysterics about this treatment. I certainly felt better at the end of it anyway.
Never let die. Never let die. Never let
Oh, this is not a rumour. This is a true rumour. that there is going to be an album has highlights. The thing is, when you do the whole show, obviously it comes out to be a 3-record vinyl set or a double CD. The thing about that is it makes it expensive, and not everyone can afford the big jobby. So what we've done is we've highlighted certain tracks that we thought were good tracks and that work on their own as an album. So that's just, you know, if you can't afford the sort of big package, you can still get a nice album.
Did you find it hard to pick and choose on that? Like,
no, not really. I must admit, on those kind of decisions, I always throw it open to other people who've been involved with the tour, like a manager or a publicist, like the Player Mountain, people who are involved in it. You know, I'm not as megalomaniac as people think I am. They think he must make all decisions. But it's not like that. You know, I sort of say to them, what do you think we ought to put on the highlights album? They'll sort of say, I think these. And I'll say, I might change one just to show him who's boss.